Heya Cryptozens, it's 10 p.m. Pacific time. My name is Nikodemus, and welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice.
So it's Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. My first day back mining fiat after the holidays. And I want to start things off with a nod to the past. Today is the 14th birthday of Bitcoin. To celebrate, some people from around the world are sending Bitcoin to the address that contains the rewards from mining the very first block of Bitcoin. This is sometimes known as the Genesis block. On January 3rd, 2009, the person known as Satoshi Nakamoto mined the Genesis block. This event created the first 50 Bitcoin, and it started the entire cryptocurrency industry. Today, 14 years later, many people are expressing their admiration for Bitcoin by posting well wishes on social media and other platforms. Over time, many people have sent Bitcoin to the Genesis block address. This has resulted in a current balance of 68.56 Bitcoin, which is worth around $1.1 million. And now, back to the grotesque show playing out in our courts. Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of FTX, has entered a plea of not guilty to the charges of defrauding customers at a court hearing in New York. He denies the 8 counts of financial and electoral fraud. He has been charged with multiple crimes, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud, commodities fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. He has also been accused of defrauding the Federal Election Commission and violating campaign finance laws. And so, he's going to have to go to court to prove his innocence. Trial is set for October 2nd, 2023. Now, I said that Sam's going to have to go to court to prove his innocence. Everybody who lives in the United States knows that that's not exactly true. Sam's not guilty plea sets up a future trial, which means that prosecutors are going to have to prove that he broke federal laws. That plea can be changed at any time. And while Sam fights the charges against him, his co-conspirators, Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang, they have both admitted to defrauding FTX customers. They are working with law enforcement agencies, according to the attorney of the Southern District of New York. Their involvement in the case was revealed the day after Sam was extradited to the U.S. Another key figure in the case is Nishad Singh. Now, he hasn't been seen since he was fired and FTX went bankrupt. Now, Singh is 27 years old. He's the former director of engineering at FTX, 7.8% stake in the platform, and he's missing. I don't know if he's been officially reported missing or if he's wanted or whatever, but he hasn't been seen in public. Meanwhile, lawyers representing Sam have asked the court to keep the identities of certain individuals who co-signed a $250 million bail. They want to keep those identities private. The lawyers gave privacy and safety as the reasons for their request. So his lawyers have asked the court to remove the names and identifying information of the 2 co-signers as well as his parents from the court documents related to his $250 million bail. This is shown in court filings from Tuesday. The U.S. government did not object to that request. Attorneys Mark Cohen and Christian Everdell of Cohen and Gressler LLP have written a letter to Judge Lewis Kaplan stating that their request to keep the identities private is justified. They say that because all information related to the court's supervision of the bail proceedings will be made public. They say that they only want to prevent the public disclosure of the identities. The lawyers also mention that Sam's parents have received threatening correspondence and have concerns that the 2 parties backing Sam's bond would face similar intrusions on their privacy, as well as the threats and harassment. That is, if their names and identities are made public. They added that this is a serious cause for concern. Now remember, one of his lawyers is Mark Cohen, the same Mark Cohen that defended Ghislaine Maxwell. Defended and lost, but still. In their filing, Cohen referenced his previous case defending Maxwell as part of his justification for the filing. SBF was indicted by the Southern District of New York on charges including money laundering and conspiracy to commit wire fraud after the collapse of his enterprise. He was arrested in the Bahamas and extradited to the U.S. in December to face charges. He was released on bail after appearing in a U.S. federal court on December 22nd. His parents' house and 2 additional parties provided the security for that bail. And the way in which that bail bond was secured has been closely examined in the days following his release. If you remember, that's because he effectively paid no money for his bond. Now, typically, you'd have to pay a bail bondsman like 10% or whatever to get them to post your bond. That's not what happened here. In this case, those 2 parties that they're talking about basically told the court, they're good for it if Sam runs. That's why, before his Tuesday arraignment in New York, Sam's lawyers requested those identities of the 2 sureties not to be made public. The letter motion stated that the request to protect the privacy and safety of the sureties is narrowly tailored and is justified as an exemption to the qualified right of public access, which is recognized by the courts. And so it came to pass that, in fact, Judge Kaplan did indeed approve Sam's request to keep the name of his co-signers confidential. In the meantime, the Bahamas financial regulator called FTX's new management cavalier, and they definitely disagreed with statements made by what's left of the exchange. On Monday, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, or SCB, has released a statement trying to correct statements that they said were false. Now, they're talking about statements made by FTX's new CEO, John J. Ray III. The SCB and FTX disagree about the value of assets that the Securities Commission have held ever since FTX filed for bankruptcy last month. Bahamian authorities say that the assets are worth $3.5 billion, but that's based on their value when they were seized. Their current value is probably lower. However, FTX disputes this and says that the assets were only worth $296 million when the Bahamas took control. In a court filing for the FTX bankruptcy case, new management said that the SCB and other Bahamian authorities had not provided any information or an accounting of diverted assets and has been stonewalling them. On Tuesday, the SCB responded saying FTX's statement was based on incomplete information. They say that the debtors had not requested information from the joint provisional liquidators handling the bankruptcy process. The SCB did say that the U.S. debtors' lack of care when making public statements about the SCB, as well as their cavalier attitude towards the truth and towards the Bahamas, was disappointing. They say this behavior has been displayed by the current officers of the Chapter 11 debtors since their appointment by Sam Bankman-Fried. And the release also criticized John J. Ray III. They said that Ray has not contacted them to discuss his concerns before discussing them publicly, and that they had not received a response to their December 7, 2022 letter offering to cooperate with the Chapter 11 debtors. The assets controlled by the SCB have been a source of conflict between the regulators and new leadership after the bankruptcy. In this latest statement, the SCB addressed the debtors' claim that the funds were stolen and denied the unfounded claim that it told FTX employees to create $300 million in new FTX tokens. The SCB said that they secured a court order to protect the assets because they were concerned about cyber attacks on FTX in mid-November. In a December 29th statement, the SCB said that while some token protocols may require the destruction of old tokens and the creation of new replacement tokens to transfer them, they said that no additional tokens were created in this process. And so it came to pass that they released a statement on January 3rd saying that they had to correct the false statements made by John J. Ray III in press and court filings. The statement said that the Chapter 11 debtors had publicly disputed the SCB's calculations of digital assets transferred to digital wallets under the SCB's control back in November. The SCB said that these statements were based on incomplete information and that the debtors did not seek information from the joint provisional liquidators. It also said that the FTX CEO had made public statements alleging that SCB told FTX to mint a substantial amount of new tokens. This was in a court filing before the U.S. House of Financial Services Committee. The Chapter 11 debtors have also claimed that the digital assets controlled by the SCB, which are intended for the benefit of FTX customers and creditors, they said that those were stolen without providing any evidence for this claim. The SCB is concerned that Chapter 11 debtors' refusal to allow the court-supervised joint provisional liquidators access to FTX's systems, that's hindering their investigation. The SCB said that it hopes that the Chapter 11 debtors will act in good faith and in the best interest of FTX's customers and creditors. The Central Bank of Morocco has written a crypto bill that may be introduced soon. They plan to discuss the bill with industry stakeholders first. The governor of Morocco's central bank announced discussions about crypto that will take place with market participants. These participants include the Moroccan Capital Markets Authority, the Insurance Supervisory Authority, and Social Security. These discussions will happen before the crypto law could be implemented. The Central Bank of Morocco also worked with the International Monetary Fund as well as the World Bank on the crypto bill. Moroccan officials also contacted the central banks in France, Sweden, and Switzerland for more information on how they regulate digital assets. The draft crypto bill for Morocco will offer a definition of crypto that's specific to Morocco and will aim to protect individuals while not hindering innovation. The specific details of the bill have not been revealed, but it's expected to be less restrictive than the current legislation, which prohibits crypto trading. I have grave concerns over this bill, to be honest. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are anti-crypto. Getting their input on the bill is like putting the fox in charge of the hen house. Crypto is their competition. They are not going to play fair. In 2022, Morocco saw the fastest growth in crypto adoption in Northern Africa. This saw the percentage of the population owning digital assets rising from 2.4% in 2021 to 3.1% the following year. In 2020, Soluna established the first blockchain-powered wind farm in the southern and windiest regions of Morocco. This excess energy from the wind farm is used to power crypto mining operations. A report from Chainalysis shows that the crypto market in the Middle East and North Africa region is growing faster than any other region in the world. During that time frame, between July 2021 to June 2022, users in the region received $566 billion in crypto. That's 48% more than the previous year. Ukrainian pharmacies are starting to accept digital payments because of the war. A large pharmacy chain in the country is allowing people to pay with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. ANC Pharmacy is now accepting cryptocurrency payments through a partnership with Binance Ukraine. This payment service is called Binance Pay, and it allows for contactless payments. ANC Pharmacy announced that its customers can now make instant payments when buying pharmacy products online. This change took effect today. ANC Pharmacy runs over 1,000 pharmacies in Ukraine, as well as its own online pharmacy service. They have announced that they will start accepting Binance Pay payments beginning in Kiev. Customers will be able to use the new payment feature at ANC pharmacies and stores. According to the announcement, these are the first pharmacies in Europe to accept cryptocurrency. To make a cryptocurrency payment, people need to download the Binance app and visit ANC's website. Once they've chosen a product to order online, they can pay with Binance Pay and pick up their order at a convenient location. Binance has been expanding its presence in Ukraine in recent years. In September of 2022, the company partnered with the Ukrainian supermarket chain Veris to allow customers to pay for groceries using the Binance Pay wallet. In February 2022, Binance Ukraine's general manager said that the launching of a Binance card in Ukraine was one of the company's top priorities for the year. This, however, was before the Russian invasion. Binance Ukraine's general manager said that using services like Binance Card for cryptocurrency payments is legal in Ukraine because the country does not have a ban on transactions involving cryptocurrencies. However, local laws do not permit direct payments using cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. We'll see you tomorrow night.